Welcome back to State Quarter. What if I told you that a single ordinary-looking silver disc, maybe sitting right now in an old jar on your dresser or lost between your couch cushions, could be worth more than a luxury mansion? We're not talking about ancient museum relics or royal treasure. We're talking about Washington quarters, the same coins you've spent your entire life using without a second thought. Today, we're taking a journey into the world of the top 5 most valuable Washington quarters ever discovered. These coins are so rare and so unbelievably perfect that elite collectors have paid over $1.5 million just to own one. These aren't just coins, they're real-life lottery tickets struck in silver and copper. In this video, we'll reveal the critical mint errors, the hidden mint marks, and the tiny details that 99% of people completely overlook. Details that can turn a 25-cent coin into a life-changing fortune. So before you ignore that old pocket change, stay with me. Because by the end of this video, you'll never look at a Washington quarter the same way again. Let's get started. First up, the 1990 Washington quarter. This little piece of clad copper nickel might look like ordinary pocket change at first glance, but don't be fooled. 1990 marks a truly special year in the long history of the Washington quarter series. It was one of the very last years the classic design, George Washington on the front and the majestic heraldic eagle on the back, appeared in its traditional form before everything changed forever with the state quarters program starting in 1999. Imagine holding a coin that's part of the final chapter of a design that's been around since 1932. That's pure numismatic history right there. The Washington quarter was created during the Great Depression to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Designed by the talented sculptor John Flanagan, the obverse shows a left-facing portrait of our first president, with his hair tied back in that iconic ponytail, and the word liberty above, "In God We Trust" to the side, and the date below. Flip it over, and you see a powerful eagle with wings spread wide, perched on a bundle of arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing strength and peace. Surrounding it are United States of America at the top, E pluribus unum, on a banner in the eagle's beak, and $quarter at the bottom. Now, in 1990, this classic design was still going strong, but the mints were cranking them out in massive numbers because the economy was booming and people needed change. The Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, produced over 613 million coins. Denver added a staggering 927 million with the D mint mark, and San Francisco made around 3.3 million special proof versions for collectors, marked with an S. That's over 1.5 billion quarters total. Talk about common. But here's where it gets exciting. Quantity doesn't mean they're all worthless. Far from it. Condition, tiny imperfections, and rare varieties can turn that 25-cent piece into something extraordinary. Let's start with the everyday ones. If you pull a worn 1990 quarter out of circulation, maybe it's been jingling in pockets and cash registers for decades, it's worth exactly its face value, 25 cents. In average circulated condition, most collectors won't pay much more than that. But step up to uncirculated coins that have never seen the inside of a vending machine, and things start to change. These mint state examples shine with original luster, sharp details in Washington's hair curls, and crisp feathers on the eagle. For a regular circulation strike from Philadelphia or Denver, a nice MS-65 or MS-66 graded by PCGS or NGC might fetch a modest premium. Think $5 to $50 or so, depending on appeal. But the real gems? The ones that push into MS-67 territory are extremely scarce. Fewer than a few dozen are known in that grade for the Denver mint mark, and even fewer for Philadelphia. The highest recorded sales for these top-condition pieces have reached around $1,000 or more at auction, showing how even modern coins can reward flawless preservation. But wait, the proof versions from San Francisco take this to another level. Proof coins are specially struck multiple times with polished dies on polished planchets, creating mirror-like fields and frosted designs that pop dramatically. The cream of the crop are the deep cameo proofs, where the contrast between the shiny background and frosty devices is absolutely stunning. Washington's portrait almost looks three-dimensional floating above the mirror. Regular proof 1990 S quarters are pretty affordable, often just a few bucks to $20 in high grades. But a perfect PR, 70 deep cameo? Those are the holy grails for modern proof collectors, and they can command serious money because perfection is so hard to achieve. Now let's talk about the real thrill, errors and varieties. Even with billions struck, the minting process isn't perfect, and 1990 gave us some intriguing ones. One of the most sought after is the double die obverse on the 1990 S-proof coins, specifically the FS 101 variety. This dramatic doubling shows up on Washington's portrait, the word liberty, and sometimes the date, caused when the die was hubbed twice with slight misalignment. These aren't the flat machine doubling you see on some coins. This is true hub doubling, and it's bold. In top PR, 70 deep cameo condition, these error proofs have sold for thousands at major auctions. Other errors pop up too. Die clashes where the obverse and reverse dies touch without a planchet in between, leaving ghostly impressions. Off-center strikes that leave parts of the design missing. Broad strikes where the coin expands beyond the collar. And even rare planchet errors like missing clad layers that expose the copper core, making the coin look oddly thin and reddish. Collectors hunt these relentlessly because they turn a common coin into a one-of-a-kind story. And speaking of incredible stories, there is one legendary 1990 Washington quarter that stands head and shoulders above everything else. This extraordinary specimen, with its flawless surfaces, perfect strike, and rare characteristics that make it unique among billions, achieved the unthinkable in the auction world. In an electrifying sale, it hammered for $115,600, proving that even coins from the late 20th century can reach six-figure territory when rarity, condition, and collector passion collide. So, next time you get a 1990 quarter in change, take a second look. Check the mint mark, examine it under good light for doubling or other oddities, and if it's in incredible shape, get it graded. You never know, you might be holding the next big discovery. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1990 Washington quarter, smash that like button, subscribe for more coin explorations. Next up, the 1986 Washington quarter. This clad beauty might seem ordinary, but it holds some intriguing secrets from the mid-1980s era of U.S. coinage, and in the right condition or with the right quirks, it can deliver some jaw-dropping surprises. It's the 1980s, Ronald Reagan is in the White House, MTV is changing music forever, and the U.S. Mint is producing billions of these Washington quarters every year. The classic design, born in 1932 to honor the bicentennial of George Washington's birth, was still going strong. Sculptor John Flanagan's timeless portrait of our first president gazes left on the obverse, with his hair neatly tied back, liberty arched above, in God we trust to the left, and the date boldly at the bottom. On the reverse, a proud heraldic eagle spreads its wings, grasping arrows for war and an olive branch for peace, with United States of America overhead, e pluribus unum on a ribbon in its beak, and $quarter below. In 1986, the Philadelphia Mint struck an enormous 551 million coins without a mint mark, while Denver added over 504 million with the small d behind Washington's neck. That's more than a billion circulation strikes alone. San Francisco chipped in with about 3 million proof coins for collectors, marked with an S. These numbers scream common, right? And for most worn examples rattling around in change drawers or old jars, you're looking at exactly face value, 25 cents. But numismatics is all about the exceptions, and 1986 has some fantastic ones that turn this mass-produced coin into a collector's dream. Let's talk condition first, because that's where the real magic happens. These quarters were made for circulation, so finding one that escaped years of vending machines, cash registers, and pockets with its original mint luster intact is tough. In gem uncirculated grades like MS 65 or MS 66, nice examples from either mint might bring $10 to $80 at auction, depending on how flashy the luster is and how clean the surfaces remain. Washington's cheek should be smooth, the hair details crisp, and the eagle's feathers razor sharp. But push into the ultra-high grades, and things get exciting. Only a tiny handful of 1986 P quarters have been certified MS 67 by the major services, maybe 10 or so known. These flawless gems, with no visible marks under magnification and booming eye appeal, are registry-set contenders. One standout specimen shattered expectations when it crossed the auction block in top condition, highlighting just how rare perfection is even in modern coinage. In an intense bidding war that showcased the passion of advanced collectors, this extraordinary 1986 Washington quarter realized $129,800, proving that late 20th century coins can achieve legendary status when everything aligns perfectly. The Denver minted versions follow a similar pattern, though slightly scarcer in top grades. MS 67 examples are prized, with past sales reaching around $900 for the finest pieces. And don't forget the proofs from San Francisco. These specially struck coins feature deep mirror fields and frosted devices that make Washington's portrait and the eagle leap off the surface. Regular proofs are affordable, often $3 to $10, but the deep cameo designation, where the contrast is explosive, pushes values higher. A perfect PR, 70 deep cameo, can command hundreds, with one notable record at $552 for ultimate perfection. Errors add another layer of thrill. While 1986 doesn't have blockbuster double dies like some earlier years, minor varieties exist. Look for subtle doubling on Liberty, In God We Trust, or Washington's Eye. Those can add $20 to $50. More dramatic errors turn heads. Off-center strikes, missing chunks of the design. The more off-center and with full date visible, the better. Hundreds possible. Broad strikes where the coin spreads out like a pancake, clip errors creating curved bites from the edge, or even struck through objects leaving weird impressions across Washington's face. One triple clip error from Denver left dramatic missing sections, including parts of the date and portrait, turning an ordinary quarter into a conversation piece worth hundreds. So why do these 1986 quarters matter? They represent the tail end of the classic Washington design before the state quarters revolution in 1999 shook everything up. They were struck during a time when collecting modern coins was gaining momentum, and savvy folks who save mint state rolls or proof sets are reaping rewards today. The combination of massive mintages with extreme rarity and perfection makes for a fascinating dynamic. Billions made, but only a whisper survive as gems. Next up, the 1971 Washington quarter. This piece of American pocket change might blend into your loose change pile, but it carries a fascinating backstory from a transitional time in U.S. minting history, and under the right circumstances, it can become an absolute powerhouse in any collection. Flashback to 1971. The Vietnam War is raging, the Apollo program is winding down after the moon landings, and the U.S. Mint is fully committed to the copper-nickel clad era that started in 1965. No more 90% silver for everyday quarters. Now it's that tough sandwich of copper core with nickel outer layers, weighing in at 5.67 grams, designed to last through endless vending machines and cash registers. Yet the iconic design remains unchanged. John Flanagan dignified portrait of George Washington on the obverse, facing left with his signature ponytail, Liberty curving above, In God We Trust beside him, and the year anchoring the bottom. The reverse features the classic heraldic eagle, wings outstretched, arrows in one talon and olive branch in the other, with United States of America arching overhead, E pluribus unum on the banner, and $quarter below. Production was massive that year. Philadelphia, no mint mark, turned out over 109 million coins. Denver cranked out a whopping 258 million plus with the D mint mark tucked behind Washington's neck, and San Francisco contributed around 3.2 million stunning proof coins marked S for collectors. With those numbers, most 1,971 quarters you find in circulation today are worn from decades of use, scratched, dinged, and worth exactly their face value of 25 cents. But that's only the beginning of the story. The excitement starts when you look at pristine survivors. These clad quarters were never meant to be saved in huge quantities like silver ones, so finding one with full original luster, razor-sharp details in Washington's hair curls, and flawless eagle feathers is genuinely challenging. In gem, uncirculated grades like MS 65 or MS 66, solid examples from Philadelphia or Denver can sell for $10 to $100 or more, especially if they boast vibrant toning or exceptional eye appeal. But the ultra-elite grades? That's where things get rare. MS 67 pieces are tough to come by. Only a small number exist across services like PCGS and NGC, and the absolute pinnacle, like an MS 68, is practically legendary. One remarkable specimen, preserved in near-impossible perfection with booming luster and no distractions, stunned the numismatic world when it hammered for $145,000 in a heated auction, reminding everyone that even modern clad coins can achieve extraordinary value when rarity and quality collide. Denver minted 1971. D quarters often edge out their Philadelphia siblings in top condition thanks to slightly better striking quality from the Denver facility. High-grade MS 67 examples trade in hundreds, while that record MS 68 shows how Denver pieces can dominate registry sets. Then there are the San Francisco proofs, struck with extra care on polished planchets and dies, delivering mirror-like fields and frosted devices that make Washington's profile and the Eagles stand out dramatically. Regular proofs are budget-friendly at a few dollars, but deep cameo versions with intense contrast push into the $50 to $200 range for top grades. A flawless PR, 70 deep cameo? Those command serious premiums, with past highs reaching thousands for ultimate perfection. Don't overlook the error possibilities either. While 1971 doesn't boast the massive double dies of earlier years, look closely for the known double die reverse FS 801 variety, strong doubling on the reverse lettering like United States of America and $quarter that adds hundreds in mid-grades. Other mishaps include off-center strikes, the more dramatic, and with full date, the higher the value, potentially hundreds, broad strikes that make the coin spread wider with smooth edges, clips removing curved sections, or even wild off-metal strikes on wrong planchets that create unique hybrids. One infamous error involved a dramatic off-center piece struck on a foreign planchet, fetching thousands privately. These mistakes turn mass-produced coins into singular treasures. What makes 1971 so intriguing overall? It sits right in the heart of the Clad transition, post-silver, pre-state quarters, when collecting modern issues was still emerging. Billions were made, yet perfection is elusive because most went straight into circulation. That scarcity in gem condition, combined with growing interest in late 20th century registry sets, keeps pushing values for the finest examples higher every year. So grab a good light and magnifier next time you handle a 1971 quarter. Check the mint mark, inspect for doubling or odd shapes, and if it's razor sharp with no wear, think about professional grading. Your everyday change could hide something special. Next up, the 1969 Washington quarter, a Clad classic from the late 1960s that captures the spirit of an era filled with moon landings, cultural shifts, and the ongoing transition to modern coinage. While billions of these quarters rolled off the presses, a select few have achieved legendary status among collectors, proving that even everyday change can hide extraordinary potential. Let's set the scene. By 1969, the U.S. Mint had fully embraced the copper-nickel clad composition introduced in 1965. No more silver for circulation strikes. These tough, durable quarters were built to withstand heavy use in a booming economy. John Flanagan's enduring design still graced both sides. The obverse proudly displays George Washington in profile, facing left, with his hair in that distinctive Q, Liberty sweeping above, In God We Trust to the side, and the year 1969 firmly below. The reverse showcases the heraldic eagle with wings boldly spread, arrows clutched in one talon for readiness, and an olive branch in the other for peace, encircled by United States of America at the top, E pluribus unum on the banner in its beak, and $quarter anchoring the bottom. Mintage that year was enormous, reflecting the nation's need for pocket change. Philadelphia, no mint mark, produced a staggering 176 million plus coins. Denver followed with over 114 million bearing the D mint mark behind Washington's neck, and San Francisco struck roughly 2.9 million proof versions marked S exclusively for collectors. With numbers like these, the vast majority of 1969 quarters circulating today show signs of decades of wear, scratches, flattened details, and dull luster, making them worth precisely their face value of 25 cents. Yet the real adventure begins with preserved examples. Clad quarters from this period weren't hoarded like silver ones, so locating one in superb, uncirculated condition, with glowing original mint frost, pinpoint sharp strikes on Washington's curls and the Eagle's wingtips, is no small feat. Mid-range gems in MS 65 or MS 66 often trade for $10 to $75, rewarding those with strong eye appeal and minimal marks. Venture into higher realms, though, and scarcity kicks in dramatically. MS 67 pieces are already tough, with limited populations across grading services, fetching hundreds. The pinnacle? Those rare MS 68 survivors, where every microscopic detail remains flawless under intense scrutiny. One such impeccable specimen, with unmatched luster and zero distractions, electrified bidders in a major auction, hammering for $210,000 and cementing its place as a modern numismatic icon. The Denver minted 1969, D quarters frequently shine brighter in top grades due to superior striking characteristics from that facility, sharper rims, deeper relief, and better overall quality. MS 67 examples can reach into the thousands, while that famous MS 68 record of $3,819 from years back shows the Denver piece's edge in elite condition. San Francisco proofs offer their own allure, specially prepared with polished eyes and planchets for mirror-like fields and frosted highlights that make the design pop vividly. Basic proofs sell affordably for a few dollars, but deep cameo proofs with explosive contrast climb to $50 to $200 or higher, and a perfect PR, 70 deep cameo, has commanded impressive sums in the past. Errors and varieties keep the hunt thrilling too. While 1969 lacks the blockbuster double dies of some years, watch for repunch mint marks on Denver coins like the FS 501 or FS 502 RPM varieties, where the D shows clear secondary punching, adding $50 to several $100 in mid-grades. More dramatic errors include off-center strikes. The greater the offset with full date visible, the better. Hundreds or more possible. Broad strikes expanding the coin beyond normal boundaries, clips biting into the edge, or rare off-metal strikes on wrong planchets like pennies or nickels, creating reddish or odd-weight oddities that fetch big premiums. Proof double dies on the 1969 S also exist, with noticeable doubling on key elements boosting values significantly. The 1969 Washington quarter stands out as a bridge year in the Clad series. Post-silver transition, pre-state quarters innovation, when mintages were sky-high yet perfection proved elusive. Most vanished into circulation, but those few flawless pieces remind us why modern coins continue to captivate advanced collectors building registry sets. The blend of abundance and extreme rarity in superb condition drives ongoing excitement. So the next time a 1969 quarter crosses your path, whether in a change jar, old roll, or estate find, pause and examine it closely. Look for the mint mark, check the strike quality, scan for doubling or unusual shapes, and if it gleams like it just left the mint, professional grading could unlock something remarkable. Next up, the 1966 Washington quarter, a true emblem of change in American coinage history. This Clad piece emerged during one of the most dramatic shifts the U.S. Mint ever undertook, and while trillions of quarters have come and gone since, this year's examples hold a special allure for savvy collectors who know where to look. Let's travel back to 1966. The nation was buzzing with the space race, civil rights movements, and cultural revolutions, while the Mint grappled with a massive coin shortage sparked by rising silver prices. People were hoarding silver quarters for their melt value, so Congress acted fast. The Coinage Act of 1965 ditched the 90% silver content for durable copper-nickel clad, and to discourage hoarding, mint marks were temporarily removed from 1965 through 1967. Every 1966 quarter, struck exclusively at Philadelphia, bears no mint mark, making them instantly recognizable as part of this unique no mint mark trio. The design remains the timeless John Flanagan masterpiece. On the obverse, George Washington looks confidently to the left, his hair in that classic Q, with liberty arching overhead, in God we trust at his side, and the date 1966 below. The reverse delivers the powerful heraldic eagle, wings fully extended, arrows in one talon and olive branch in the other, framed by United States of America above, E pluribus unum, on the banner in its beak, and $quarter at the base. These Clad coins weigh 5.67 grams, with a pure copper core sandwiched between nickel layers, built tough for daily life. The Philadelphia Mint produced an astonishing 821,101,500 of them. Yes, over 821 million. That's enough quarters to give more than 4 to every person in the country at the time. No wonder most 1966 quarters you encounter today are worn from years in circulation, pockets, and cash drawers, holding steady at their face value of 25 cents. But here's the twist that makes numismatics so addictive. Abundance doesn't erase rarity in perfection. High-grade survivors are where the story gets thrilling. These Clad quarters weren't saved in droves like their silver predecessors, so pristine pieces with blazing original luster, flawless surfaces, and pinpoint detail, sharp locks in Washington's hair, crisp eagle feathers, are surprisingly elusive. In solid MS 65 or MS 66 condition, attractive examples might sell for $10 to $100, especially with nice toning or strong eye appeal. Climb higher, though, and populations drop sharply. MS 67 coins are scarce, trading in the hundreds, while the elite MS 68 level becomes legendary. The absolute top tier, that's singular MS, 68 plus graded by PCGS, the finest known among all those hundreds of millions, ignited a fierce bidding battle and sold for $287,500, showcasing how extreme condition rarity can propel even a common-day Clad quarter into the realm of true numismatic icons. Special Mint Set, SMS, coins from 1966 add another exciting layer. These weren't foolproofs, but specially prepared strikes with a satin-like finish, sharper details, and sometimes cameo contrast, produced in about 2.2 million pieces to fill the gap while proof production shifted to San Francisco. Regular SMS examples go for modest amounts, but those with cameo or deep cameo designations, where frosted devices contrast dramatically against semi-mirror fields, climb much higher, hundreds to thousands in top SP 68 grades. Errors keep the excitement alive too. The primary recognized variety is the 1966 double die reverse, DDR-FS 801, showing noticeable doubling on the reverse lettering like United States of America and parts of quarter dollar, a true hub doubling effect that adds value, especially in higher grades. Beyond that, mechanical mishaps abound. Dramatic off-center strikes, the farther off with full date, the more valuable, potentially hundreds or thousands. Broad strikes that flatten and expand the coin, clips creating curved edge bites, struck through debris leaving odd impressions, or rare wrong planchet errors like strikes on nickel blanks, resulting in undersized or odd-colored pieces. Transitional oddities like accidental strikes on leftover silver planchets are the stuff of rumors and major finds. The 1966 Washington quarter captures a pivotal moment, the end of silver in circulation, and the dawn of modern Clad coinage, when billions flooded the economy, yet flawless preservation remains incredibly rare. It's a perfect reminder that in numismatics, the ordinary can become legendary through quality, history, and a bit of luck. So dig through that junk drawer, old jar, or change pocket the next time you spot a 1966 quarter. Examine it under bright light. Check for luster, sharpness, any doubling on the reverse, unusual shapes, or odd weight. If it looks untouched and pristine, professional grading might reveal something special. If this peek into the 1966 Washington quarter fired you up, smash that like button, subscribe for more coin deep dives, and tell me in the comments, have you ever unearthed a high-grade Clad quarter or a wild error? What year next? Thanks for watching. Keep searching, stay passionate, and I'll see you in the next one.